He has an unbelievable coach that's going to make sure that he does things the right way, play the game the right way, and he's going to continue to develop. But he's already special, but he's going to continue to get better and better.
What if I told you the craziest NBA story of this offseason isn't Giannis? It's not Kevin Durant. It's not even Luka. What if the biggest story is LeBron James? Because for the first time in nearly 20 years, LeBron James might not be the center of a franchise anymore. And once you look at everything that happened the past few seasons, the Luka trade, the body language, the contract discussions, the comments from Rich Paul, you start to understand why some NBA fans believe that the perfect final chapter of LeBron's career might not be in LA. It might be in San Antonio alongside Victor Wembanyama. Now that sounds crazy, but by the end of the video, I think you'll understand why. And maybe this is where some of you stop agreeing with me. Because on paper, LeBron and Luka should be a perfect fit. Seriously, if I told you 3 years ago that LeBron and Luka would eventually become teammates, most of y'all would have assumed that team was going to win a championship. Two generational playmakers, two basketball geniuses. What could realistically go wrong? But when you actually watch the Lakers this year, did it feel a little bit strange? Think about every major Laker convo. Every debate show, every podcast, every headline. It changed from how do we maximize LeBron's final years to how do we build around Luka? What does Luka need? And look, that makes sense. Luka's younger. He's entering his prime. He could be the face of the Lakers for the next decade. But if you're LeBron, you don't want to hear that. Because for 20 years, every organization he's joined has revolved around him. Miami, Cleveland, Los Angeles. LeBron was always the center of the story. This season didn't feel like that. For the first time, he was in the future. Maybe the past. And then there was the body language. Now, before anyone gets angry, I'm not claiming to know what LeBron was thinking. No one knows that. But let's be honest. There were stretches this season where LeBron looked disconnected. Not angry, not emotional, just kind of different, like he was watching instead of leading. And the clips started spreading online. Fans started to ask questions. Was he frustrated? Was he unhappy? Was he simply exhausted? Or was he beginning to realize that Lakers are entering a new era? Again, we don't know, but perception becomes reality in the NBA. And the perception was something was off. And here's where things get uncomfortable. Because Luka is incredible. No one's going to argue that. But Luka plays a very specific style of basketball. The ball is in his hands a lot. That's what makes him great. The offense runs through him. The pace runs through him. Everything runs through him. Now ask yourself this. How many years has LeBron spent controlling offenses? 20 plus years. He's one of the greatest playmakers the sport has ever seen. So let me ask you a question. If you're LeBron James, how do you want your final years to look? Do you want to spend possession standing in the corner while another star runs the show? Or do you want the ball in your hands making decisions? Because whether Lakers fans like it or not, there were definitely moments this year where LeBron looked more like a third, maybe fourth option than the main guy. And then we get to the money. Not because LeBron needs money, but because of what it represents. Think about how many times this season you heard people say, LeBron should take less, LeBron should sacrifice, LeBron should help the team financially. Every time the Lakers needed flexibility, LeBron's contract came up. And eventually, you gotta wonder, how does a superstar take that? Because for most of his Lakers career, LeBron was viewed as the solution. Now suddenly, people were treating him like part of the problem. Then came the comments from Rich Paul. And these comments are important because Rich Paul made it clear LeBron wants to compete for championships. Not just make the playoffs, not just be relevant, championships. And Rich Paul also acknowledged that LeBron understands the Lakers are building for the future. Think about those two ideas together. LeBron wants championships right now. The Lakers are building for the future. The timelines don't perfectly match. And that's where things start to get interesting. Now, at this point, some of you are probably thinking, okay, let's pretend LeBron does want out of LA. How would he even get to San Antonio? And honestly, it's not as impossible as people think. One hypothetical that fans have discussed is a 3-team sign and trade. The Spurs receive LeBron, the Lakers receive Michael Porter Jr. from the Nets, and the Nets receive De'Aaron Fox and draft compensation. Now, before anyone loses their mind, I'm not saying that's a real rumor. I'm not saying it's happening. I'm saying it shows there's actual pathways that LeBron could get to San Antonio. This isn't NBA 2K fantasy anymore. There are legitimate ways a deal could be structured. And once you realize that, the conversation changes. Because now the question isn't, can it happen? The question becomes, should it happen? And that's where Victor Wembanyama enters the convo. Because unlike Luka, Wemby doesn't need to dominate every possession. He doesn't need the ball for 20 seconds. He can impact the game without controlling the offense. And let's not forget what LeBron said about him. Before Wemby even played an NBA game, LeBron saw it. And honestly, he was right. Imagine LeBron running pick and rolls with a 7'4" alien. Imagine the lobs, the spacing, the passing angles, the defense. This fit is ridiculous. And unlike the Luka situation, LeBron could still be the primary creator. He could still be the engine. If LeBron does end up leaving the Lakers, it's going to be for rings. Not one, but multiple. Think about Wemby and LeBron and a talented Spurs core. Maybe the best young foundation in basketball. Suddenly we're not talking about a playoff team or a championship contender. We're talking about a dynasty. And if Wemby becomes the player everyone thinks he's going to become, why stop at one championship? Why not multiple? Why not 4 or 5? Then there's the Spurs organization. Greg Popovich, the culture, the professionalism, the stability. For decades, San Antonio has been one of the gold standards in professional sports. And if LeBron wanted one final basketball home, there aren't that many better places. Which brings us back to the question, what does LeBron actually want? Because at this stage of his career, it's not about the awards. It's not about the stats. It's not about proving that he's great. He's done all of that. Maybe what's left is one final championship run, one final mission, one final opportunity to help shape the future of the NBA. Because what if LeBron's last superstar teammate isn't Luka? What if it's Wemby? Not because LeBron needs them, but because Wemby's next. The Lakers are becoming Luka's team, the Spurs are Wemby's team, and sitting in the middle is LeBron, trying to decide how one of the greatest careers in sports should end. And if you were LeBron, would you stay in LA or would you join Wemby in San Antonio? Let me know what you think in the comments.